Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are welcome to the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook and on YouTube. On behalf of the TDS team, we want to say Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2022. We are grateful to God for our lives, and thanks again for joining us for the first edition within this year. My name is Precious Adadidiodu. I'm your regular host, ably supported by James Kwabena Opon, who is a producer. This program is ably sponsored by Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. And thank you so much for being with us throughout 2021. And we hope this year is going to be an amazing year and everything we have planned as individuals will come to pass. So on this year, we start on a very high note, a very good note, and we are looking forward to a very amazing interview with one person that we've looked forward to interviewing for a very long time. And personally, he's a brother, he's a friend, he's a senior, he's a mentor, and I can't wait to interview him today. So join me to welcome or to invite to, our interview today, Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and a public health specialist here in the UK. You are welcome to the TDS TV show, Dr. Dare. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, Precious, and thanks for having me here today.
Tell us a bit about yourself, Dr. Dare. Who is Dr. Dare?
My name is Shadrach, or Dr. Dare, known in formal sectors. I'm a nurse by profession or by training, and then went on to do a master and PhDs in public health. So in terms of profession, I am a lecturer at the moment at Dundee University. And I teach research methods, teach on some other professional courses, and do research as well. So I guess, in a nutshell, I'm Shadrach, a nurse and a doctor, famously from Agona Swedro in Ghana, in the central region. Attended Swedro Secondary School, where you also attended. And so that's how come, our connections go way back. From Swedro Secondary School, known as Swesco, went on to Cape Vaz or UCC to do nursing. There I worked, I served in the Nursing Student Association and was very much involved in the student union at the time. From there, I did my national service in the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. As a nurse, all nurses are to do the 1 year mandatory national service, what we call rotation. So I did that. And after that, I was very fortunate to win the Commonwealth Scholarship to do my master's in Glasgow University. Afterwards, I came back to Ghana as Commonwealth demands. And then I worked in Cape Coast University for another year and won another Commonwealth Scholarship for a PhD in Glasgow Uni again. So the first time was so good, I had to do it again. And from there, it just taking grace, did a bit of work with the WHO for a few months. And then from there, worked at some universities in Glasgow and then currently work in Dundee University. So it's been more of academia and a bit of policy. And I guess that defines who I am or what I really want to do, to be able to combine, or use research to inform policy. And I guess that's in a nutshell.
Sempekum.
Optimist.
All right, so thank you very much, viewers. So that is our school motto, Swedro Secondary School, now called Swedro High, Secondary High School. Yeah. So Sempercum is a Latin word, which means always with the best. Yeah. Sempercum, optimist. So, as you can see, Shadrach is doing amazingly well, and we are grateful to have you. Thank you very much for sharing with us. That takes us to, one of your write-ups on Facebook that went quite viral. I've seen quite a number of, sites that have published that. To become a doctor or a nurse, I became both. So that was, it's more like what you've said, but tell us what inspired that write-up and what is it about in essence?
It depends on how far you want to go. So I guess everyone knows, or most people are, well, for those who are fortunate to know what they are good at, I guess one of the things I would say I kind of quite enjoy is a good write-up or a good reading. And the science almost took that away from me, writing in a poetic sense. So it was one day I was actually just reflecting. I wanted to, Facebook would always ask you, what's on your mind, So Facebook was asking what was on my mind. And I'd always thought of, writing, about my story because I felt it would inspire other people, particularly, I mean, nurses, male nurses, I mean, to be more specific, actually, because most of us went into nursing, not necessarily wanting to do it, or we found ourselves in nursing, and others have gone on to do many things, but nobody's really shared their story. So I felt, I could share it, but in a poetic sense, or to make a good reading as well. And I don't know whether by dint of inspiration or by dint of Shakespearean spirit, tagged it to become a nurse or a doctor. I became both, and gladly he went viral, and I got a lot of adulations for that, actually, which I enjoyed for a few days until something, a new viral thing came up, and then that story died. But no, I was happy with many people reached out to me for mentoring opportunities, which some I still take up on, others would fall along the cracks. But you were a nurse as well. I mean, and I guess with all humility, sometimes I feel my story is not much unique because I can think of many colleagues of mine who have gone on to do PhDs. I mean, you've had, Jerry John Nutter on your show before. Chris Mal is either if Chris Mal is listening, you are supposed to be on this show as well. This is an invitation to you.
Please tell him for me. He's watching.
Exactly. Chris Mal should be on the show. Chris Mal was my classmate, has gone on to do a PhD. I mean, there are many of my colleagues, and some went on to do medicine. But many go, even I think 2 days ago, somebody reached out to me that, Shadrach, I've got admission into nursing, but I really want to do medicine, or I want to, be a doctor. How should I go about it? You speak to them and you realize that, they really do not know the pathway after nursing. Like many of us did not know when we entered. But keep your head down, and then, I mean, with hard work, you'll find yourself where God, has for you. So.
Wow. Thank you very much. We are speaking to Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and a public health specialist here in the UK. He's taking us through his life. Shadrach, just a final thing on what you said. Would you say, therefore, that a lot of probably science students are probably misguided on what to do in the universities? Because like you said, I also had the same thing, and quite a number of people, almost everybody wants to go into medicine and all that. Is that the case?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a story I've not shared anywhere before, but because this is the Discovery Show, I'm going to share it.
Great. Thank you.
All I wanted to do actually was to be a petrochemical engineer.
Wow.
I'm quite good with maths. So I love the maths, run the numbers and all of that. And so I wanted to be a petrochemical engineer because it sounded nice to me. I did not even know what petrochemical engineers do. And one day I told, a big brother of mine, and he told me that, you want to be a petrochemical engineer? Do you want to sell fuel at the filling station? And that was how I lost interest, So we mostly from high school do not know which programs to go into. And particularly in this environment that we find ourselves in, you want to do a course for which afterwards a job is guaranteed. And shamefully in our country, I mean, back in Ghana, some courses, they call it single courses, are reserved for those who get, the double digits grades and leave the, professional ones to those who make single digits, which is, unfortunately not so true, because we know people who go on to do either mathematics or do physics and achieve very high, So I think it starts from high school, and we all have a role to play, and this show is doing amazingly well, by exposing those who have, the journeys, the paths people have taken. So one of the things I take interest in reading is, autobiographies or biographies of people, to know what journeys they took and then see how you can align with that. But even more importantly, when you know somebody who has walked that path, it's easier for you to follow suit. And so I think we have a huge role to play, as individuals and on your show as well, to educate people, to let them know, what opportunities or prospects. And I know we'll come to this, talking about prospects as a public health, but many people, do not even know what to do after first degree. And, I mean, just leave things as they are. So, I mean, yeah. But people also have responsibility to search out for the information, particularly in this age where, you can read anything on YouTube, or the Discovery Show is on YouTube. You can go on YouTube to watch it, whether Facebook, reach out to people. I've reached out to some senior colleagues I've never met before, and, they do mentor me. So feel free to get in touch with people to learn from them. I mean, that's the only way you can, get something good for yourself as well. So absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and a public health specialist here in the UK. So now let's move straight into that. What will you tell people who are looking forward to positioning themselves to pursue a dream or a desire? Your advice to them, I mean, in line with what you just discussed. I mean, tell us, those who want to also make progress and pursue dreams, what do we do to position ourselves strategically?
I mean, if somebody had asked me 10 years ago whether I knew what I would become after doing nursing, I mean, I would say, I mean, all I wanted to do was to work in the pseudo government hospital, now, the municipal hospital. I thought that I would be fortunate to rise to become a nurse manager to serve my people. So I did not know what journey, my career would take me. So for those who are going into professions or into areas they do not know today, all I can say is, I mean, with faith, go into it with the interest as well and have a noble, aspiration as to why you're going into it. And whatever you're doing, give it your best. I know I've shared this on Facebook and other platforms, so there's no need to go, to go over it. But when I was in nursing school, there was a point in time I decided that if I was going to be a nurse, then I must be a damn good one. So I gave it my all. I mean, my classmates will tell you, and anyone who shared a class with me will tell you that I wasn't even taking it like any lightly. I was just, butchering it, like, giving it my all, because I wanted to be the best nurse possible. And so is it with any profession, whether you're a painter, whether you are an artist, whether you are a mathematician. Nobody wants a mediocre one. Everyone wants the best. So if you are a painter and you are the best painter, you will paint in king's palaces. You will paint in places where people, other people have not painted. Or if you are, I don't know what is the most, disrespected profession. Just think of anything, whatever you are, if you are the best at it, you will, what does the Bible say? A man's talent will bring him before kings. So give it your best, sharpen your skill, and you'll find yourself in the best of places. I mean, whether architecture, whatever, even people think that if you're a doctor, you are, it will position you for success ultimately in life. That is never so. There are doctors I see and I absolutely, dislike, and I have no respect at all for them. But there are doctors also who are very much respected. So it depends on giving the best to whatever, that you have. One thing I should also add is that be open-minded in whatever you are doing. I mean, in nursing school, I thought I would, just graduate and be a nurse and, just serve, get promotions, hopefully, get paid and all of that. But then in nursing school, I found an area of nursing I absolutely enjoyed, and that was public health. I said before that I like the mathematics, I like the numbers, and nursing had almost no hope of, applying some numbers. But then there was public health, and I enjoyed the public health modules. I spoke to, Auntie Maggie, I like to call her, who was a district public health nurse in Cape Coast. She told me what public health was about, and I learned more about it. So after school, maybe in third year, fourth year, I knew what I wanted to do after uni. So when it came to the public health modules, I made sure I smashed them because I knew that I would need that to justify why I wanted to do public health. If there was, track record that I was, excelling in the public health modules. And, by grace, I applied for, the public health program in Glasgow University, and had got into it. And yeah, it's been fantastic, I must say. I mean, I guess one of the best things I would say that happened to me was winning the Commonwealth Scholarship, because it was like 4 years of hard work, not just rewarded with the first class, but it felt different. You could see that hard work had paid, and you could see that, prayers and everything that I had invested into it, had paid, and I am eternally grateful, so for those doing nursing or doing programs, they think this is not what they wanted to do. I know I'm babbling a bit. After first year in university, I wanted to stop nursing, And at that point, I thought I had made a 3.6 GPA. I had made a first class. So I wanted to be clear that if I was stopping nursing, it wasn't because I did not excel or I failed it or something. But I wanted to make the point that I stopped because I did not want it. But then, like we say in Ghana, I was from a humble background, which is a euphemism for not a very rich background, you know. And I knew that if I was going to stop nursing, that would mean that my dad has to go for another loan to pay fees. And it was just going to be long, you know. So I decided that I'll finish the nursing and then see what the Lord had for me. And so for those doing programs they feel they do not like, if you have the means to stop it, to pursue what you really want to do, certainly go for it. But if you think you do not have the means, or if you want to continue that path, give it your absolute best shot. You can do 2 master's degrees, you can do 3 master's degrees, you can do if you are doing a first degree in, I've seen people who did first degrees in some fields you would not think they'll do some prestigious master's degrees, and they're doing it. As long as you can demonstrate how they are connected and why you are passionate about that, you get into it. And so yeah, give it your best. I mean,
fantastic. If you are just joining us, this is the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channels, and you will definitely be excited you did. On Facebook and on YouTube, the name is The Discovery Show TDS TV. On Instagram and on Twitter, the name is at The Discovery Show _ TDS TV. My name is Precious Adadidiodu, and I'm here speaking to Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and public health specialist here in the UK. Can I just introduce to you Henbeck 60 Hub? Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck is spelled HENBECK. Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. So basically what Henbeck does is, if you want to actually ship clothes, footwears, watches, bags, and books from any part of the world, then please contact Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. They are the people that will do well to ship it to you anywhere across the world. And they are an amazing people. They are an amazing people. Please, you can contact Henbeck 60 Hub on +233 546 022 952. I take that again, +233 546 022 952. You can also contact them at henbecktravels@gmail.com, henbecktravels@gmail.com, or just visit them on Facebook. The name is Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. I say again, if you want to ship footwears, clothes, watches, bags, and books from any part of the world to another part of the world, probably you've bought them already, but you want them to ship that for you, or you want them to buy from the very best of, retailers and wholesale, stores and all that, and ship it to you. They will do such a beautiful job for you. So kindly contact them, and you will not regret. They are the proud sponsors of this program, and this program is also ably produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opon. So Shadrach, let's talk a bit about academia. You did indicate from the beginning that you actually did a bit of teaching in Ghana as well, and you are now a lecturer here at the University of Dundee in Scotland. Tell us, what do you say with regards to a comparison between our educational system in Ghana and, to a larger extent, Africa and here in the UK? What are the lessons for improvement?
That is $1 million question, and I could go on in terms of in terms of infrastructure, or the differences are so vast. But I think the key difference for me is the opportunities available, here in the UK. Of course, if you are a lecturer as well. So some of these questions you can contribute to them as well. But I think students here have lots of opportunities. There are times I don't know if any of my students is working, but there are times students will come to you with some concerns, and you make necessary adjustments for them. You take everybody's concerns into consideration. If a student needs a bit more time to do their work for genuine reasons, we provide them what is known as mitigating circumstances. I never heard of it in Ghana. In Ghana, your mom can die. If you miss the exams, you failed.
You failed.
it hurts to say, but I think I went to UCC. It's difficult in Ghana, honestly. It's just too difficult. We don't put the human elements in it. And for those of us who did nursing, we are supposed to be a caring profession. And so we must generally show this care to our students so that they can also go into the world to show this care unto others. It is out of the abundance that we show unto them that will flow abroad in their hearts and also show unto others. So I think that putting a bit of, so in terms of the pedagogy, the teaching elements, you know, we should allow some flexibility. If we have the student's interest at heart, if a student should come to you that, I'm sorry, sir, but you know, I lost my dad and it's so much affected me that I'm ill prepared for this exam. We should be able to listen to such a student, I think. You know, here in the UK, there are processes to deal with this. But then it could also be the lack of trust in our system. I mean, in the past few weeks, I've been talking about the lack of trust in the Ghanaians. We think students will come up with all sorts of excuses, you know. If this was not a formal platform, I'd have said BS. You know, students will make up stories. But then there are ways to find out, you know, the veracity of these things and see legitimate concerns from, you know, absolute nonsense ones. But putting a bit of human element into into the way we teach, I think is the starting place. Yeah. For some of us, we can't complain that much because we had some, you know, lecturers who took interest in us and were very, you know, Dr. Matesiakwa, who was our head of department. I mean, he would just call some of the boys that, what are you going to do when you go home this vacation? And then he would just, you know, give you some work and then stay with him and, you know, do some work. So he was very helpful, you know, but it shouldn't take, there should be a structure that allows, you know, students to feel they are a part of the university because they will be forever ambassadors of our university. So in terms of the teaching itself, I think lectures can be a bit more humane, you know. At least I want to believe that they are now, you know, and I stand to be corrected. If viewers feel that things have not changed, then they can let me know. It's been a while I left university. So I hope they've changed now. But beyond that, I think, you know, our system also struggles because of lack of infrastructure, you know, and precious, it's a lack of trust. Let me tell you a story. When I'm going to, you know, when I was in Kivas, when you're going to the university library, you have to leave your bag at the gate. I don't know what it was in tech. They'll have to search you.
It's the same thing everywhere.
You're a criminal. Honestly, I said you're a criminal. And then I come to Glasgow Uni and in all universities here in the UK anyway, I am being allowed to enter with my bag. Like nobody is searching you, it feels different. And it makes you feel secure back in university, a confession. Some people, I don't know whether I was part or not, the books, you know, because there were only 2 physiology books in the library. So you take it from physiology and go and hide it at archaeology so that your other colleagues will not find it. So, but I think that it is the general lack of trust. Students are not trusted. Lecturers don't trust students. Students don't trust lecturers. I mean, and it's
I think that transcends beyond just the educational system.
Absolutely.
It's the same principle when you go to supermarkets here, anywhere, like, you know. So I think it has to do with the trust with the society in general. That's the
society issue. In general. I like how you put it. Society in general. I mean, we can go on and on with this. Our Ghanaian values, I think, the ones we grew up with knowing, you know, whether honesty, trustworthiness, you know, being sincere, and all of these are eroding over time. And as much as you do not recognize it, they are eating into all sectors of our society. And we see, anyway, I know I don't want to get into the politics of it. It's eating into all sectors of our society. Everyone wants just a quick way of getting things done. Nobody wants to go through the hard. There are people who have approached me that, do I know somebody who can connect them to get Commonwealth scholarships? And I tell them in all honesty that I did not know anyone. Until that, I still don't know anyone who can help you get one. But there seem to be, you know, shortcuts to getting things done in the global south or in some parts of the world, you know, where some of you come from. So people want to follow that. And
I'll tell you why probably people ask you for that favor. When it comes to issue of Commonwealth, you seem to be a very popular person within the Commonwealth fraternity. So kudos, and we are happy to have you in our fraternity as the almighty Dr. Shadrach Dare. Just a minute.
Life is a journey and sometimes can be a lonely road. When friends and loved ones forsake you, all you got to do is to be bold. I knew it years ago that those who undermined me had their minds undermined, but I never mind. They should keep on undermining because I'm a real good. I must undergo mining. Talking of mining, it leads to discovery. We mine to discover, we learn to discover, we observe to discover. Friends can uncover you at the same time discover you. But I don't want to discover you, I would rather discover more, so I go on the internet and I listen to words of wisdom and intellect. Availability of information, interviews of great men and women all over the diaspora and all nations. Creativity at its best, dexterity of research, no need to go through any formal education. I introduce you to the Discovery Show. Let your friends and your family know the struggles before they blow, their highs and their lows. Pay attention to this show, it will make you feel at ease. The Discovery Show on YouTube got the steez. Now Perry, the presenter, please pose for the camera. I want to hear you say cheese. We are airborne like a flu. I want to hear you sneeze. True. The Discovery Show is live on air, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. See ya. TDS TV, Yearn to Learn. Host, Perry Precious. Executive Producer, James.
Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Discovery Show TDS TV. So Shadrach, I know you are much into public health, you are into maternal and child health, you are into research involving developing countries and all that. You've done quite a number of research works, but I will be very, particular about a few of them. A cluster of them talks about neonatal mortality across Africa and developing countries in general. Let's stick to Ghana or any other, country you want to talk about. What is the situation like neonatal mortality across board? And why do you have such interest anyway?
Thank you. And I guess it's only right that I define what neonatal mortality means. So I guess it's another broad theme of child mortality, babies dying. And I have particular interest in babies who are under 1 month old. So the first 28 days or the first 1 month is what I focus on. So the key question I seek to answer is why, do babies die, earlier, when they are born? But of course, some on the platform may challenge that, no, babies are not dying, early. But it has to do with which babies are dying. So I seek to understand, because I think that every child should have should have equal opportunity, first to life, in order to pursue their God-given talents. The playing grounds must be equal and be fair. And the first 28 days are crucial so that early malnourishment or early life events could have long implications. And so you see, even I've got some studies on absenteeism and how it influences, academic output and, life outcomes as well. So my goal, of course, I would wish to, investigate everything about the human being from birth to death or, from cradle to grave, but I do not have that capacity. So my focus is on the first 28 days to be able to, come up with interventions or be able to investigate why are some babies doing better than others? Whose baby is not doing well and why? So I think when these questions are answered, then at least in the first 28 days, we know that all children will have, for some of you may think that, but as for a baby who is born, what do children need? All they need is breast milk for the first, month or first, 6 months. But you'll be interested to know that not all babies in the first month are exclusively breastfed. Some babies are given, water because some customs and traditions dictate that once you join the family, you should be welcomed with water. And some of these water, is contaminated. You go to some of the villages and some of the water they drink is contaminated. So this child picks up an infection from the onset. And so while I do quite a lot of quantitative work, analyze data and all of that, I also spend some time speaking to mothers, midwives, doctors, traditional birth attendants to understand, why are some babies doing better than others, and then based on the information I receive, I analyze them and come up with them. Let me ask you a quick question, actually. If I asked you, a baby, no, this is not a quiz anyway, I'm sure you have the answer. What do people think? Babies who are born in hospitals and babies born at home, which ones do you think do well within 28 days? Which ones do you think die earlier? Is it better for a baby to be born in hospital or to be born at home? What do you think?
Well, it's more likely to be in the hospital.
Exactly. That's what I thought as well. But a recent study I did actually show that that was not the case. In Ghana, babies who were born in the hospital were dying earlier than babies who were born at home. Perhaps somebody saying that, I knew it. The TBS are way better than the midwives. These midwives are not good at all. But that's not the whole picture. When you look at where the babies are dying, most of them are dying at home. So the story actually appears that the babies who are born in hospital or born at home, they go home to die. So the question is, how can we ensure that babies who are delivered wherever they are delivered, in the hospital or at home, when they are sick, or there is a way whereby we can get sick babies to get into the hospital as soon as they are ill, rather than, taking, you don't have the time for all the stories I've heard, but women will narrate stories to you, and this is a clear case of whether convulsion or an infection, which you can treat with an antibiotic, and the babies are being given all sorts of herbs and all sorts of things, which can even shut an adult's liver, but babies are being given and they go on to die, So it is by discovering these, by uncovering these, we were able to come up with policies, be able to inform policies or, come up with interventions that would improve, the health of babies. But so there are two ways to look at it from a pure research perspective, but I like to think of mine as, something practical. I would like it to have an applied implication so that babies, regardless of how wealthy their mother is or where they are born, why should a child born in Accra have a better chance of surviving than a child born in Nyankrum, your village? Why should a child born and it transcends beyond national to international. Why should a child born in Africa have a worse chance of surviving than a child born in the UK? It is so unfair. It is not just, an issue of poverty. It's an issue of fairness. It is just unfair that it almost feels like a child can even, with all humility, can almost blame God that why was I born, in Ghana, so that why did I die within, the first month? So I think that God has also given us these opportunities to do this research, to make interventions that would ensure that all children born everywhere, would have equal opportunities to survive and then make their own destinies or to pursue their God-given talents. It's just not an issue of, whether it makes, economic sense, or it's an issue of morality as well. So there's a moral, dimension as well to all of these. And I guess I'm driven by more of these,
I think, just you have done quite a number of publications. We can't literally go into all of them. Of course, I've always said I have interest in specific ones from your master's publication and all that. But since we're talking about neonatal mortality and also talking about the school, you spoke about school absenteeism and all that. I know you've done quite a number of publications on school absenteeism and attendance and all that. How does that link with your interest, and why those interests? What did you find in some of those research works?
I could glue to that. Oh, that's what I wanted to do, but sometimes opportunities come by, and but of course I still choose those which are related to what I want to do.
Sorry, I hope we're able to do this in 2 to 3 minutes.
All right, yeah, we can do that. So, absenteeism. You would think that children who, children who miss school naturally would, perform worse than those who attend school all the time. It comes to mind one classmate of mine. I'm not going to mention his name. This guy can miss classes, and in the end, he will still butcher the course, So some people may challenge that, oh no, I know this guy, he was sharp, he doesn't even come to school all the time and he's doing well. So at a population level, if you look at the big numbers, children who are truants or who miss school often do not do well. And of course, academic outcome has implications for, where you place in life as well. But beyond those who are just truants for reasons we do not know, sometimes there are genuine reasons why children miss school, either due to sickness. So children who have either asthma or sickle cell disease tend to miss school because of crisis than their counterparts. So that was the perspective I came into it. Why should a child, suffer academically because of their health condition? How can we adjust so that a child who is sick with asthma or with sickle cell disease or some other condition doesn't have to suffer academically because of something they did not make? So I guess you see where I'm coming from. I'm concerned about the health of children, and health and education cannot be separated. So that was how I came into it. So yeah, I know our time is going, so I'll not go more into that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shadrach Dare. Very much appreciated. So Shadrach, let's talk about something, different from academia and all that. Of course, before we come to that, I did MPH as well, and quite a number of people do ask, so from nursing into MPH and all that, what are the career prospects and all that? I think this is a good opportunity for you to share some of the career prospects for people who want to go into MPH, public health in general, who may not have a fair idea of what the future holds for them. What are some of the things you can share before we come to a very important and substantive topic as well?
I think public health is a beautiful program, and for every person in the health sciences at least should have some exposure to public health, because it broadens your mind to look at things beyond the clinical setting, to look at it from a more holistic and at a policy level. I mean, the MPH I did equipped me with a research skill, with data analysis skills, and be able to look at. So I don't just read an intervention and think that, oh, it will be effective. It allows you to be critical as well, to ask questions. Why will this, is there any evidence that this will yield the desired results? So one of the policies I analyzed was the occupational health policy in Ghana that suggested that educating, healthcare workers, would lead to da-da-da-da-da. But there was no evidence to support that. Since when did educating people alone, lead to, some desired outcomes? So I think the MPH, or a Master's in Public Health, equips you with the skills to ask these questions. I know some usually say that MPH is common, everyone is almost going into MPH or doing a public health degree. And that is true because of what, it is about. So, but it depends on what your first degree is. I mean, I did a first degree in nursing, and you, so did you. We came into public health with that clinical perspective. So after my MPH, I'm interested in, neonatal mortality. I look at things that concerns nursing, or how I can use the master skill to improve, my profession. Some I know colleagues who did environmental science at the first degree and came to do, a master's in public health, and now they are interested in how is pollution related to health, and they are into the research elements of it. So whether you want to work in the EPA, environmental protection, just think of anything. In fact, some of my students on the MPH, I teach MPH at Essex. And some of my students, one of them she works in the cruise ship industry. And actually I said, why are you doing in public? You work on a cruise ship. And she explained to me that on the first COVID case, not the first, but one of the early outbreaks was actually on a cruise ship because of how they contain people. She wanted to understand how. I thought it was beautiful, So whether you work in the cruise ship industry, whether you have a degree in mathematics, in public health, we love the mathematicians because they come in with the data analysis skills. They show us different ways of analyzing some population level data. So I guess the question is, why do you want to do the MPH? I mean, you did MPH. Afterwards, you went back to clinical care, and now you are a lecturer. My journey is quite similar. Daniel did, MPH, went in to do a PhD, and then he's also a lecturer. I know some of my colleagues who work, Barnabas who worked at the WHO and is coming back to the WHO. I have colleagues who work in the World Bank. Wherever you want to work, the question is, why do you want to go into public health? Why do you want to do MPH? So based on whether you have a first degree, that you are committed to and you want to do the MPH to gain that skill, to see how even school teachers can do public health. See the school feeding program. How do we ensure that the students are getting meals that nourish them? How do we ensure that what I was doing in, school absenteeism and academic outcomes, a teacher can do public health to understand why are my students who have asthma performing worse than students who do not have any condition. I mean, ideas are just flowing. So I guess the key question is, why do you want to do the MPH? Sometimes it may not be so crystal clear. That is fine. But as you go into it, be open-minded. And there are lots of opportunities. And I think that whoever is occupying any leadership position in the health sciences should have an MPH degree, because it allows you to look at things from a policy perspective to ensure that policy leads to the desired outcomes and not, all these. Anyway, I was going to get political. All these policies that almost seem like knee-jerk reactions. Oh, let's introduce this policy without searching the evidence. Is there any evidence that this thing can work? It hasn't worked anywhere. And so yeah, I absolutely enjoyed MPH, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone who is interested in it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there are people out there who are watching whom I want to come to you for support, helping them to shape their CVs, career mentorship, and all that. Are you available? I am very much aware that you have always opened your arms. Of course, I know you're very busy, but what sort of support system do you have in place for people who are watching us and may want to come to you? Of course, like I said, you are busy, so not to invite, in quote, unnecessary workload for you, but what sort of support do you have for people?
I mean, I've generally helped friends and, other recommendations. I mean, if somebody spoke to me that, oh, Shadrach, I've got this, I want you to look at it. I started Academics Consult, which is very much alive, and what we do as Academics Consult is to, if you have, whether a job interview or you want to apply for a scholarship, want to apply for a master's program, once you get in touch with me, I'll help shape your SOP for you. And what I stopped advertising it because many people approach you because they want you to write it for them. I mean, I just couldn't write your SOP for you because it will just defy the purpose, that the playing ground should be equal for everyone. I mean, we do not have the time. There's still a lot of things to talk about. One of the things I do is that,
I'm sure your email stands @gmail.com, isn't it?
DareShadrach@yahoo.com or DareShadrach@gmail.com. Either of them is.
I've just dropped that in the comment section for people who might want to touch base with you. DareShadrach@gmail.com, and he'll be of help, of course. Yeah. So Achim will say, if you are not willing to draft your own stuff, you are not showing commitment to the work you are doing.
Actually, sometimes people do not know even how to start. And so what I've done in the past is actually I meet with a person and we just have a conversation. Just tell me, why do you want to do it? And sometimes these conversations actually help you, shaping the ideas properly, or what have you done in the past, and allow you to, because it's competitive, as currently in Dundee University, when some students approach, I've had many lectures who, students who say that I want to apply for Common School, they tell them, no, don't apply because you won't stand a chance. And it's because it's competitive. So what I would often do is to meet up with the candidates and then, have a conversation. Why do you want to do it? What have you done in the past? Because sometimes we are overly humble, we don't, that guardian humility. You don't want to say what you've done because you think you are bragging. I mean, if it's right, if it's true, if it's factual, it's not bragging, So feel free to be a bit arrogant on the paper to show what you can do and then, compete and give yourself a good chance of winning the scholarship. And I'm happy that lots of nurses and lots of our friends find good friends around you also, get a good network. I mean,
yeah,
I know too many Commonwealth scholars.
So let's be clear. Do you only help people with CVs and all that for scholarships and all that? You look at career mentoring. What else do you help people with? So that, because you have been very helpful to me as a brother, as a friend, and all that. I mean, no two ways about that. And I'm eternally grateful. Thank you very much. And I know anyone who may come to you for support and all that here and there will never regret. So I'm very much particular about that. I know you are into mentoring and all that. What other things are you into so that people can come to you for help?
Well, I guess that is almost a handful already. So interview preparations, CV writing, writing your SOPs, general career guides. I mean, I also have Yeah, so that is on the academic side and professional side of things. I also have the Diaspora savings and investments, which is.
Don't worry, I'm coming there. Don't worry.
All right.
I'll ask you some questions that will lead to that. So please don't for me. But just some few questions. I can see Dr. Boachi Daniel Hill says, interesting stuff, Apostle Dr. Shadrach Dare. Some questions. Did your first degree BSc nursing prepare you in any way for your career in public health? And do you think Ghana needs to improve on data management for improved health research? That's a great stuff. Thank you very much, Dr. Boachi Daniels, and looking forward to having you on the show soon. Yeah, so Shadrach.
I know many of your viewers are international, so I only want to say I can improve it, but they say it's only a fool who would point to his father's house with his left hand. So that to say that or to suggest that, the first degree did not prepare me in any way would be, not so great. But I see where Daniel is coming from. I think that, in UCC, for my undergrad's dissertation, I investigated, why men in Aguna Street do not like, vasectomy. So there's something called factors influencing the acceptance of vasectomy among men in Aguna Street group. It was, I think the sample size was maybe 50 or 200 or something like that, something small. But that dissertation exposed me to SPSS. It exposed me to pie charts, graphs to explain data, confidence intervals, p-values. It helped me understand that, so that, of course, it was when the masters I realized that what I did was rubbish. But at least, that's why you were the one who brought it up, and I told you, don't bring that dissertation up because it's one of my shameful works. I'm not proud of it.
It happens to most people on this platform. Once you progress and you do postgraduate, and then one time you decide to have a look at your undergrad, research, it's like,
don't do it. Don't look at your undergrad. Again, But no, it helped me, to understand what p-value means, what is confidence interval, what is significance, and these things, and actually enjoyed it. But unfortunately, many people will go and give their dissertation to people to do it for them for the money. And honestly, so while I would agree with Daniel that maybe it's not enough, it's also because students are not even interested. The dissertation, which is like a 3 credits or whether 20 credits, depending on the school you attend, it's supposed to expose them to these things. And I had a good supervisor, Dr. Drew, you go to him, he would ask you the questions and allow you to go and run this analysis, come and show me this. And I absolutely enjoyed it. So it definitely helped, but I know many people do not, apply themselves to the process, or they don't even see the relevance of it, and they don't learn from it.
Thank you very much. Shadrach, but let's talk about you living and working here in the UK before we come to issues of finances and going into the diaspora savings and investment and all that. What are some of the tips? There are quite a number of people on this platform who are living in other countries beyond the UK, but generally, you have been in the UK for quite a long time, combining education, working and all that. So as they will say, you are Ubuntia, what's not hatchet. What are some of the tips you give to people to be successful here? Of course, we'll come to finances, so don't touch that bit. We're coming there soon, yeah.
I can only share what I know. So to ask me what people need to be successful here, I do not have, I'm still trying to uncover it. But one thing I want to say is this, that for anyone, and for many of your viewers from Ghana, some people finish university and unfortunately do not even know how to write a good CV. I did nursing, and so I perhaps did not have any motivation to even learn how to write a CV or any of these things. But once you're a graduate, there are some basic skills I think you should have. One, some basic data analysis, how to interpret figures, how to transform numbers to graphs, to how to do a good presentation, how to write a good CV, how to write a good letter, how to communicate. I think that these are basic things any graduate, so that we were taught that, I'm a graduate nurse. Remember, it's a graduate nurse. You are first a graduate before a nurse. So whatever attributes of a graduate you should possess, CV writing, communication, data analysis, whether you did BA drama, BA, you have no excuse that I did drama, so I don't understand data analysis. No, some basic ones you should
transferable skills.
Yeah. Exactly. These are the transferable skills, and they go so that if you want to work, there are some jobs any graduate should be able to do. I know the bankers will be pissed at me. But like working in a bank, and that is why it comes to the DSI as well. Some of us did science, and then went on to do nursing. And unfortunately,
we can go into that. We can go straight away. I'm very conscious that we are exactly on time, and we just have some few minutes to discuss finances. Like you rightly said, you and I have had this conversation over and over again. I mean, especially those in the sciences and all that. Usually, we are not very financially literate. We don't have that mentality of business, investment, and all that. And that has really been a very good conversation you and other people have had, including myself, that led to you setting up this whole page we call the Diaspora Savings and Investment. So I mean, viewers, I'll recommend you can just go on Facebook, or whilst you're on Facebook, you can search for Diaspora Savings and Investment. It's a platform set up by Shadrach. He'll talk about that shortly, just to help us share ideas about numerous topics, including investment, savings, how to, get right contact with people in different fields. He'll talk about that himself. But the point I want to make is that it may be an anecdotal evidence anyway, that people in the sciences and other fields beyond business usually are not financially literate, and we don't put in such risky behaviors when we are trying to invest all that, compared to people who can take those adventurous decisions and all that. So tell us, what are some of the things you have learned personally, and for especially those who are watching us, what are some of the tips you have for us to be financially literate, to be daring enough to be able to invest? And then you can tie that with your Diaspora Savings and Investment.
Yeah, thank you, Precious. So it's Diaspora Savings and Investments. So as I was saying previously, I think that every graduate should have these basic skills. Likewise, I think that for any person who wants to, who lives in our world today, needs to have an idea about economics, finance, investment, entrepreneur, business. And I've been forced to learn these things because of where we find ourselves. Some of us migrated from Ghana, whereby, we don't use credit cards. If you want to buy, a mobile phone, you just go and then you have the money, you buy the phone, you buy the data, and then you use it. It's as simple as that. But then we find ourselves in a part of the world whereby, almost everything can be given on credit, and the banks chasing you for loans, and you can get access to credit all over the place. And some people cannot have access to credit and all of that. So I guess the main thing was to understand how does the system actually work. It's a bit personal, but I went to a bank for a loan, and they told me, they wouldn't give me the loan. And I thought, I don't owe anyone anything, I don't have any debts. I don't have any, why would you give me a small loan to go and buy something? And they're like, oh, credit score is no good. What is credit score? What is that? When did we take that exam that I did not pass? What is this score that I'm unaware of? So I had to, have the humility to learn and understand the system. So essentially, it is some level, credit worthiness to see whether if you owe money, you can pay. Is there any evidence that if this person, we give money to this person, you'll pay? And so, I understood it, and then, now try to educate other people. But for those of us who have come from, migrated from other countries, whether India, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, we find ourselves in a part of the world whereby we are often, faced with this dilemma. If I have £1,000, what do I do with it? Should I, save it here in the UK, or I should send it to Ghana to buy treasury bill? Because that's almost the only source of investment we know. And even, where do I put the money? Do I put it in Ghana, or I should put it here? So it was these issues, that caused me to try to learn, and then share this information, but also create this platform where other people are able to contribute their knowledge. I mean, you said that I've been in the UK for 10 years or more, and so you think I'm Ubuntu. Others have been here for like 50 years, 30 years. And sometimes I've told people that, yes, sir, I'm thinking of, buying a taxi and then go and give it to somebody in Ghana to run a taxi business. And the person will look at me and say, idiot, see this boy, what I find, don't do that. So the point I'm making here is this, that people have been burned. People have learned lessons. But there's no platform to consolidate these ideas. So it's just to create a platform where people who live here in the diaspora are able to share their views, their learning over the past 50 years with those of us who've been here for less than 10 years, so that we can learn from them. And also to create an opportunity for people in Ghana or in Nigeria or India to know what is happening in the diaspora, to create an opportunity for them to learn from us. And also because I think we live in a digital world. People are watching us from Swedro at the moment. People are watching us from, from Northumbria, to Nalerugu, from everywhere. So that I think that when it comes to investments or, finance, it crosses borders. Money is the universal language everyone speaks, whether it's pounds or shillings or cedis or kwacha, whatever, it's still, cash. See, we don't have the time. I would have told you a story. So anyway, it's still cash. So it's to create opportunities. And I did not come into this investment business with, that wearing tie or thing. I come into it with the humility that we are all learning. So while I share what I've learned, it's also to create an opportunity for others to share what they know. We consolidate these ideas and we also network. So it's called the Diaspora Savings and Investments. If you have more questions, of course, are passionate.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, so just to find out, is it only for people in the diaspora, or it doesn't matter wherever you are across the world, whether Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, you can still join and learn on that platform, or specifically for those in the diaspora?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's for everyone everywhere. For those in the diaspora, there are topics that allow us to, discuss diaspora issues. For those back home, it's also an opportunity to see opportunities in the diaspora too. So one of the questions we've been asking is, what skill should, and that was one of the hot topics, what skills should people at home gain before migrating to the diaspora?
Yeah.
I mean, for women, I wish I could do proper professional barbering. Well, of course, my hair should tell you that I need a professional barber. Or even how to pleat hair. These are skills in short supply here, or even data analysis. Everyone thinks that, you see people who did engineering or banking, they come abroad and because of lack of knowledge, they all go into care. They are carers or they are nurses. And sometimes, as much as I love everyone to come to the health industry, it's a bit annoying and infuriating that you are a top banker. Why should you be, a nurse or a carer? If you love it, then that's fine. But some people, it's because they do not have the information, not knowing that they can transfer these skills into other things. Sometimes it's just a course you have to do. Sometimes there are better things you can learn, other skills you can learn here. So for those back home, it's a platform where you can learn the skill set that are in short supply and are needed here so that they can migrate, and contribute something substantial to the economy here. And of course, the universal economy. And for those of us here, it is how to share and consolidate the knowledge that we've accumulated over the past years and spread these across and, see how we can transfer it back home.
Fantastic. I'm conscious that we are running out of time, but I mean, you've been able to give some great ideas to people who are yet to migrate overseas. Let's assume that for those who are already in the diaspora, you have spoken about credit score and all that. If you have to speak to them within 2 to 5 minutes, talk about, for example, you said credit score. So obviously they should know their credit score. What other tips will you give to people? I mean, finance related tips will you give to people in the diaspora in relation to investment, let's say buying shares, whatsoever? What are some of the things? Because obviously you have done a bit of self-tutoring and you have done very well with that. So thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, very well is quite an exaggeration. I'm still learning. I think, well, I need to make a disclaimer. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. So if you listen to me and go and invest in some stocks and they drop, I mean, that's what you do. But generally, I mean, when you come to this part of the world, you realize that you can't work 24 hours. Back home, you hear, I have this cousin, Adebayo, who's always like, let your money work for you. And I'll go like, foolish man, forget it, But then you come here and realize that these were truths. So there are ways whereby, and I mean, for those of us growing up, you realize that you can make wise decisions into where you put your money. You can be a bit more comfortable by putting your money in the right places. Unlike Ghana, or in other parts of the world, whereby the bank is giving you maybe 20% or 10% interest on your money. Over here, the bank is giving 0.1%. 0.1%, not 1%. That is 0.01. Absolute shite. You can't do anything with that, you know. So, and inflation is like 4%. Sorry, I may be using some of these terms. Essentially, what that means is that if you keep your money in the bank, every year you are losing money, because inflation means that if I don't know, if this candle costs £10 today, or you buy it for £10 today, next year it wouldn't cost £10. It costs maybe £11 or £12. That means that your £10 cannot buy you the same thing you could buy today. So if you keep the money in the bank and they give you 0.1%, next year, the candle you could buy today, or the tea or the sugar you could buy today without £10, you can't buy next year. So essentially, you are losing the money. So my question was, where then can I put my money so that if I'm not making profit, at least I'm keeping the value of my money? So that will lead us to, you know, investing, or, you know, so where do we invest? Of course, the stock market, buying shares, ETFs, index funds. Of course, if you tell me to explain this in 5 minutes, I cannot explain in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I guess the inflation concept and the interest rates here allow people to know what is it. Let me demonstrate this. Yesterday, with my flatmate, we were running some numbers. We could see that if you put £100 every month for 10 years, for 15 years in a bank at 0.1%, it comes to, I think, 15,000. No, it comes to like 10,000. It comes to like 10,000 or thereabout pounds. I don't know, 15 years, or maybe 15. Let's say 15,000. The same amount if you invested it in the stock market at a conservative 7%, you are making maybe 20,000, about 5,000 more. Double that up, leave that up for another 5 years. It shoots to about 20,000 or even more.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to explain here is that there's compound interest and there's simple interest. In the banks, it's simple interest on 0.1. In the stock market, you're getting like 7% compound interest on whatever you have there. It's a no-brainer. But hey, there's Diaspora Savings and Investment for us to talk about these things. So definitely do, you know, subscribe to that, like the Facebook page, and there's more in stock. You know, whether you are here in the diaspora or you are now migrating, we talk of all sort of topics that benefits everyone. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and a public health specialist here in the UK. He is also a deacon in the Church of Pentecost here in the UK. So he's also a man of God as well, if you know. But thank you. It's been an amazing discussion, Shadrach. I mean, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. And issues of finances are great. I wish we could talk about this in detail, but just like you said, you are not an expert in this field. But of course, I mean, with a great mind and your quest to help other people to make the right decisions based on general discussion, that's how come you've set up this Diaspora Savings and Investment. Just go on Facebook and search for Diaspora Savings and Investment, and definitely it will help you to learn more. I mean, from these different platforms.
Let me use your platform to wish my dad a happy birthday, Mr. Israel Babatunde Dare, Ivy Dare. Today is his birthday. I've not called him yet. I'll call him after this. Happy birthday to you,
Charlie.
Yeah.
God has saved you. Dr. Dare, it's been a pleasure chatting with you anytime, any day. And we genuinely appreciate your presence here on the Discovery Show. We look forward to having a discussion sometime on other things. But I mean, in summary, what will you say finally? It could be anything you want to rehash or your best for us.
No, I mean, just to thank you for this opportunity and to encourage everyone, whatever they are doing, to give it their very best and be open-minded to learning. I think one of the things I enjoy here in the UK is you see some of our students, you know, were police officers, you know, and now studying nursing. That opportunity is not available in other parts of the world, but as individuals, we can commit ourselves to learning whatever, or even relearn new skills. It's never too late. You know, so keep pushing, you know, and, you know, if they don't create new doors, break the ones. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I've absolutely enjoyed this conversation. If I need to be this nice, I would have come long ago.
But it's been an absolute pleasure.
Optimist.
It's always an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah.
This program was produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opon, and it was sponsored by Henrik 60 Hub. If you want to buy clothes, if you want to buy footwears, watches, bags, and books, you already have them. You want to ship them to any part of the world, or you want this company to buy very quality materials and send them to you wherever you are across the world. They will do the best of jobs for you. You can contact them on +233 546 022 952. I take that again, +233 546 022 952, or send them an email at henbecktravels@gmail.com. henbecktravels@gmail.com. Henbeck is spelled HENBECK@gmail.com, or send them a message on Facebook at Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. They are the proud sponsors of this program. I am your host, Precious Adade Diodu, and for over an hour, I've spoken to Dr. Shadrach Dare, who is a lecturer and a public health specialist here in the UK. Thank you, Shadrach, and hope to see you some other time. God bless you.